Aloha everybody, Kaiwaza with you. Welcome back to my channel, and for been quite a while since I've done one, but it's time for a Hawaiian, Exotica, South Pacific record collection update video. I have a very large collection, about 2,500 vinyl records, Hawaiian music, Exotica, and South Pacific, and I did a whole series on every record, so it's like 287 videos or something, showing them. And I said, as promised, I would do updates from time to time when I get enough new records in to do an update video. So I'm going to do that today of some things I have purchased in the past few months that have been added to the collection. And first up, we have this album, unusual, different album. It's called the Guam Biccentennial album, coming from the island of Guam in Micronesia. This album actually does not celebrate anything about Guam's bicentennial, but it was done as a salute to the United States bicentennial in 1776. It's all songs about Guam, mostly original compositions. And the featured vocalist is Bill James, along with the Little Manila Symphony Orchestra. There's no year on this. It's on the Jedval Arroyo Productions label. I'm assuming it's about 1976. That was the United States bicentennial. I got this one new in the shrink wrap. It had not been opened. And it's always, some people love that. It's always a little risky, I think, when you do that, because it's possible that the wrong album was sealed when it was originally in the factory, or there's something wrong with it. And in fact, this one did the little needle, the hole for the spindle was not large enough. It wouldn't fit on the record player. So I don't know if that ever happens to you, but I've discovered if you just take a pair of scissors and stick it in there and kind of shave off a little bit of the vinyl from the inside here, that it'll be fine. So yeah, this is Bill James Guam Bicentennial album.
Just a pretty little island that God left in the West, just a paradise you read about, made for love and for happiness, where the palm trees sway.
Next up, it's a Hawaiian Christmas album, simply called Christmas Songs by the Church College of Hawaii Choral Ensemble. Now, the Church College of Hawaii, in case you're wondering, was in Laie, Oahu, on this island of Oahu, and eventually became known as BYU, Brigham Young University, but it was first called the Church College of Hawaii when it was much smaller. So this album is all Christmas songs, and some of them done in English and Hawaiian, kind of a mix of things. Interestingly, on the backside here, there are no table of contents. You have to look at the inside of the record itself to see that. It came with this liner plastic cover that I did keep, because I guess they felt after they created the album it needed some additional push information on the front. So the little plastic sleeve has this special Polynesian arrangements, and indeed I think one of the highlights of this album is a Tahitian-inspired version of Jingle Bells, which really is quite fabulous, I think. Oh, what fun it is to ride like this on Christmas Day. Christmas there for you. Tis nearly the season, isn't it? Here's one that, I mean, it looks a little more exciting than the music actually is. Good music, but I mean, at first you're like, ah. The album is called Tiki Tunes by Peter Posa and his golden guitar. Now this is on Viking Records out of New Zealand, and it's an instrumental album. Peter Posa playing like a regular Spanish guitar, not a Hawaiian style guitar. Instrumental songs, really nice. A lot of them Maori or New Zealand native songs. Yeah, and it's just kind of a nice album. Now I have a million albums by this next artist, very prolific ukulele player by the name of Herb Otah, also known as Ohta-San. I didn't have this record, and there was kind of a good sale going on at one of our local record stores, so I got it at a reduced price because I wasn't going to pay as much as they wanted for it to begin with. But this is Herb Otah, Ohta-San, Folk Songs of the Balkans. Now, in case you don't know, the Balkan Peninsula is kind of what sticks out into the Aegean Sea, Adriatic, Mediterranean area. It's like all the countries of the former Yugoslavia, you know, Serbia, Montenegro. There's Albania, Croatia. Also, Greece is considered the Balkans, that whole peninsula. So these are folk songs of the Balkan area on the Hawaiian ukulele. Next we have a nice record. I was kind of excited to find this one. I love Hawaiian steel guitar, and this is an instrumental Hawaiian steel guitar album, chock full of songs that one normally doesn't hear steel guitar arrangements of. It's called the Hawaiian, misspelled, the Hawaiian Guitar Sound, Bill Sevesi and his Islanders, Volume 1. I haven't seen Volume 2, so I'll have to keep an eye out for it. This also on Viking Records, 1980 is the date on this, out of New Zealand, featuring some different South Pacific songs we don't normally hear on steel guitar. So yeah, kind of happy to find this one. Keep my eyes out for Volume 2. It's not listed here on the back either. Okay, then we have just another South Pacific. You know, I recently started collecting all the recordings of Rodgers and Hammerstein's musical South Pacific I could find. I didn't start out collecting them in my Hawaiian record collection. I had the original Broadway cast album, and I had the the original Broadway cast and the film soundtrack, and that was it. And then at some point, because I kept seeing them, I thought, in the dollar bins, you know, like I should just get all of the South Pacific ones. So I'm gradually working on that, and I did get another one. This is a budget label, Coronet, Rogers and Hammerstein, whatever, South Pacific. It's a fairly standard budget label issue. By the Coronet Studio Orchestra and Chorus with Margaret Young, William Carson, Jeanine Gray, Cy Milano, Maureen Kennedy, and the Playboys.
Dites-moi pourquoi la vie est belle. Dites-moi pourquoi la vie est gaie. Dites-moi pourquoi chez mademoiselle est-ce que, parce que, mais.
As you might be able to tell from the label, that's quite an older Coronet release. Then finally today, on the new acquisitions, we have to talk a little bit about this strange album. This is actually a reissue of a very old album, an album done like in 58, 59, something like that, and just reissued very recently by Trunk Records. I've wanted to get this record album for a long time, but every time I've seen it, it's been astronomically expensive because it is so rare. So when the reissue came out and I saw it pretty reasonably, like $25 or something, I mean, I don't normally pay that much for records, but I'm like, okay, let's get it because it's going to be like $100 if we ever get the original one. And it's not well known, but it's a very rare exotica album, and now it's been reissued, so everybody can get a copy of it if they want to. It's called Polynesia by the Buddy Collette Septet. Also features Marni, Nixon on some of the. She was very famous on a lot of those exotica records for doing the female wordless oohing and eyeing. She did a lot of that. Robert Sorrells is reading the poetry. Now this album is very strange. I don't know. I really don't know what to say about this. Like, I'm happy I have it, but it's really weird. It's not just typical exotica at all. It's very dark, which is strange for something called Polynesia. Supposedly it says here, part of the side one is just music and some singing, okay, by Marni Nixon. Poems that sort of make sense and sort of don't. They're odd. And then the second side is Polynesian Suite and Japanese Suite, and those are poems read by this Robert Sorrells guy over this music. But it's so dark, it's clearly not about Polynesia at all. I mean, the references in these poems are not. But the liner notes are great. The original LP states that Buddy was given carte blanche to do what he wanted to with the material. After 6 months of composing and studying with the voice soloist, the results were 2 instrumentals and 2 songs on side 1 and tone poems on side 2. Little can be found of A.I. Groeg, who is the person who was responsible for the first album, The Academic Oriental Studies and Translations of A.I. Groeg. And it says this person had translated several Polynesian and Japanese manuscripts, and these form the basis of the dark narrations and lyrics across the album. Well, they are clearly not about Polynesia, if you listen to them. Japan, maybe, old Japan, but not Polynesian. And very dark. I mean, talking about murders and bodies, and it's very strange. I'm glad I have it. If you really want classic exotica music, this is not it. Okay, this is just weird ephemera. I don't know. I like it. I mean, I'm glad I have it, but it's not something I'm going to play an awful lot. And I did only upload a couple of selections into the Hawaiian Hi-Fi Radio because this is just very, very odd.
How come their eyes the undulation of the sea water at night, the softly padding sea.
Oh, and I should. These are the members of the Buddy Collette Septet.
The trees, low cries float up.
All right, that's it. That's my update. I hope you enjoyed that. If you like this kind of music, check out my radio station called Hawaiian Hi-Fi on Live 365. That will be linked below. And if you like easy listening, classic easy listening elevator kind of music, I love that too. I have another radio station called Moody Mood Music that features the mellow, easy listening sounds of decades past. That link will be below also. So thanks for watching. Subscribe if you want to see more, and let me know if you have any of these records or what you think of them. Anybody that's gotten Polynesia, this one here, I'd really love to hear your thoughts on it. Interesting. Great that it's been reissued and people can have it, but I don't quite know what to make of the record. Anyway, have a good day.